about creating emotional awareness for process drama in ELT classroom. Emotional awareness. I think we have been talking a lot about emotions recently because it's something really important to have insight into what we feel and how we feel. Because it's quite late. I don't know where you are from, but I'm really very happy that you are joining us at this webinar. But I would like you to think how you are feeling at the moment. Just reflect, sit comfortably, and just think, what are your emotions at the moment, what you are feeling. You can write in chat. I think we can chat a little bit. The group is not that big, so it would be good to be a little bit interactive. Tired, yes. That's, I think, something we can all have this feeling at the moment because it's quite late. But I would like you to focus on the feelings and emotions also in your body. Where you feel this emotion, where is it in your body? Yes, tired. Shoulders. Okay, very often we feel it in our shoulders. Okay. What else? In my back. Okay. And during the day today, one more question. Could you just go back and scan the whole day? What emotions have you been feeling during today? Because now I can imagine that you are very tired after the whole day. But are you aware what you have been feeling during the whole day? Okay, just write down or just think about it a little bit. Usually we have different emotions during the day. Yes, we feel differently depending on the situation, on people we meet during the day. And it's quite important to be aware what you feel, how you feel. And you know that recently we have been going through difficult times, and people who are more aware of what they feel and how they feel, the research says that they are much healthier mentally and psychologically. So awareness, the emotional awareness, is very important, and especially if you know what you feel, because sometimes I think we all have these emotions, but we not very often we know what we feel. And I guess that you will all agree that emotions play a very important role in our learning process and also in teaching. I would like you to think about something. Yes, lots of different emotions here. Alicia has written. Great, thank you for that. I would like you now to think and reflect. How do you think, how important emotions are in the learning process? And do you think about it when you teach? Or you can also go back to your learning process, and what do you remember most from your learning? Yes, extremely important. What do they do? They are important, we all know, but what is their role in your opinion? You can, of course, you can chat between yourselves, but I do think that the cognitive learning cannot be isolated from the affective one. If we want to teach effectively, we always have to include some of the emotional learning. We have to include this affective element. And you probably agree, you will agree that when you learn something, we remember it much better if there is something emotional about that. I don't know what you remember from your learning process, but I do remember elements or just moments in my education and in my learning process which were somehow connected with emotion. Either I was very excited, we were thrilled to bits, or I was very frustrated, but these emotions made a difference. So emotions, as you said, they play really extremely important role in learning. And also our physical state, yeah? I think we all know that depending on how you feel physically, what if you are tired or not, or are you healthy or not, the learning will go differently. And all research in neuroscience, neuropsychology indicate that emotions are integral to learning. So there is actually no doubt that emotions can be isolated from the learning process. So I would like you to think what you do really to somehow increase this role of emotions in your classroom with students. Somebody has written emotions have to memorize better. Exactly. Positive emotions reinforce learning. Exactly. So what do you do, or how you make your teaching more emotional? And also we know that the learning process is something very dynamic, yeah, and emotions form actually, as somebody said, the memories, but they also form a very critical piece of how, what, when, and why people think and remember. So it's absolutely impossible, according to neurobiology, to build any memories, to engage, or to build some complex thoughts, or make some decisions which are meaningful without emotions. So these emotions play a really important role in making the process of learning more effective. Okay, so there is lots of research. There are many researchers who deal with emotions, with psychology of our emotions, psychology of learning, which are based on emotions. So as we already mentioned, I usually call emotions something like the memory markers. We have some markers. When you imagine the colorful markers we use very often in the classroom, emotions are also defined as memory markers. So all emotional content will have a bigger impact on the learner than something which is completely isolated from emotions. And it's also good to remember that the emotional content, which is very personal to the student or has a very personal importance, will be much better stored in our memory. If we use a neutral content, it's more neutral to the learner. But if you somehow refer to something what is personal when you teach or you do something with your students, so if we rely more on the experience, on the emotional memories, it means that we can expect that they will remember it much better than something which is completely not connected with them. So summing up, we can say that the emotions somehow drive consciousness. Consciousness drives attention, and attention drives long-term memory and learning. And you know that very often we try to remember something and we have it in our memory, but it's in a long-term memory which is not accessible. And the problem is that only things which are accessible can be used. And I think it probably has happened to all of us. It has happened to me many times that I'm trying to find a word, for instance, in Italian or Spanish, when I try to speak one of these languages, and then I can't remember the word. It rings the bell, but it's stored in the long-term memory, which is not accessible. So if you add some emotions to that word or phrase, it's more probable that it will be stored in long-term memory, which is accessible. So as you can see on this diagram, it's all very correlated, it's all very connected. And when we want to have teaching which is memorable, which is effective, it's good to remember about these emotions. Somebody also said here that positive emotions are important because they energize the brain. Yes, they increase the efficiency of learning. So of course, we need lots of positive emotions in our learning process, and also research shows how important the positive emotions are. And according to positive psychology, which I am very involved in, we know that we need positive emotions, but we generally need all emotions. Even the emotions which are difficult are also important for us, because for the mental health, people need to accept all possible emotions. Sorry, I have been teaching for 12 hours and my voice is not very good at the moment. So we need all possible emotions, but definitely if you remember something and you associate it with positive emotion, it's much easier to remember, and it will be stored easier by a learner, and it will probably increase the efficiency of learning. And today's topic is drama, process drama, and I have been practicing drama for many, many years, and I do believe that an interesting story and interaction can engage learners' emotions a lot. So if you create a good story, interesting story, or you use a story, it's easier also to evoke some positive emotion. So what is process drama and how can it help language learners and learning? I know that all probably teachers of English or languages, we all know drama, even though there are different understanding of drama, different definitions. I have been practicing process drama, which is very much focused on the process, not on the product. I will tell about it more in a minute. So why is it important and how can it help? First of all, drama is like whole class immersive activity. Yeah, so we can use different strategies, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So you can use different configurations and different groupings when you use drama, but it is a very immersive activity. You can practice speaking, listening, first of all, but also writing in and out of role. And what I said before, process drama is very much focused on the process, not on the product. Very often we use some theater performances in the classroom, and when we use some scripts. But process drama is something which is very much focused on something what is happening between the participants, what is happening in the group. So it's not really important if the group will prepare a brilliant product. It's more important what's going on between them. So this is the main difference between the theater and process drama. So it's not like preparing the performance of production, but just being a participant and being engaged in the process. There are lots of different strategies. We can use conventions and strategies, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And one of the most important strategies is teacher in and out of role, because it gives you the control of the group. But also, this strategy is important to empower the participants to feel more engaged in a drama. So drama is social, is emotional, and is collaborative. So everything what we need in the language classroom. And it's very much connected with the shifting paradigm, which we have been observing recently, that I think our role now is much more complicated and much more diverse than it was in the past, because from teaching a language, we had to move more to facilitating development. And we all know that nowadays, what we do is much more than only teaching a language. Very often when we teach the language, we also develop some life skills. And emotional awareness is also one of the life skills. Yes, it's one of the intrapersonal skills. So we can teach different skills. I'm sure that you are very aware of the map of 21st century skills like learning, literacy, and life skills. So all of them can be developed through drama, but I would like to focus more on life skills, because the pandemic also illustrated how much our life skills are important when it comes to any crisis situation. Because people with some ability to communicate, to people with better intrapersonal skills definitely had less problem, less tension and fewer problems than people without this skill. So that's why we can practice all these skills with our students using process drama and some activities based on drama. So as I said, process drama is a whole class immersive, multisensory, and inclusive activity. So with everyone being involved or working together. Enroll at times or out of the role. We have imagined time, place, and situation. And it's very important for the teacher to have the learning purpose. So why are we doing that? So it's not, as I said before, about rehearsing or performing scripts for the theater performance, because sometimes you have also external audience when you do drama, but sometimes you don't have, and it's not important. Yeah, you can just, you can do it without any audience, and it's just for the process itself. In drama, it's important to provide some roles and situations which are emotionally compelling. So when you prepare the situations, then you can invite, you can encourage, first of all, empathy. You can also make your students emotionally engaged. And we know that there is no better learning than emotional engagement. When your students, your pupils are really engaged and they want to do what you are prepared. And drama is based, of course, on some fictional situations, but because we create some fictional situation, we create, or we can even use some stories, but the engagement and the empathy students are learning or they are showing, it's very authentic. It's very authentic. It's something which is real, because we use our skills, we use our abilities, and even if we play some roles, we are using our own potential, we are using our own resources. So it's you can play a role, anybody, but the way you behave, the way you act is based on what you have, the skills you have. And we in drama, we often talk about so-called distancing effect, because you create the fictional situation, but actually you are using your real skills and you are using your real resources, or you can practice something in the fiction, in the fictional context, but then you will use it in your own reality. So when we try to train or use some, let's say, interpersonal skills in drama in a fictional situation, is a good training before you use all these skills in your real life. So what drama does, it actually somehow develops the neural connections, because it keeps the neural paths very active. It strengthens also neural connections. So we talk a lot about connectivity in drama, because there are no new neural paths developed through drama, and people have to behave out of the comfort zone. They have to create something new. That's why in drama we also stimulate creativity, because we move from here and now into the as if and if. Yeah, so you have to use your creative brain. You have to use your creative mindset when you work through drama, and you are free to generate lots of different ideas. That's why it's very creative, and you can really develop and stimulate creativity. Something what is very important also in drama is called Metaxis. I don't know if you have ever heard this word, Metaxis. Metaxis is the word which was developed by Augusto Boal in 1995. And this term means, it explains the state of belonging completely and simultaneously to two different autonomous worlds. Because on one hand, you belong to your fictional world, and on the other way, you belong to your real world. Yeah, so this term is used in drama work, and it somehow captures the tension of the dual perception of the world that occurs very often for the actors, and can occur also for the audience and spectators when they participate in drama. So Metaxis is just being on the edge. So if you explore something in your fictional situation, just because you need these skills, these abilities in your real life and your reality. Or also you use in your fictional world some skills and some potential which you have in your real life. So this is also the energy. The Metaxis also defines the energy which happens between these two worlds. And when we think about teaching or learning a second language or a foreign language, for me, learning another language is always something like opening a new different world. And I often say, and also I do some research on exploring different selves. You know, I don't know if you have noticed this about yourself, but when we speak another language, I think we activate a different self. So very often we activate the different emotions. And when I speak, I don't know, when I speak, let's say Italian, I think I'm completely different than when I speak English or French, because Italian is more, you know, vivid, and I use more gestures and so on. So somehow it opens a different self and activates a different aspect of my personality. It's quite fascinating, I think, when you observe it. So in a way, in a foreign language class, we get into this Metaxis space when you are between two different worlds. So there are many, as I said before, there are many drama strategies and drama conventions. What are drama strategies? They are just some techniques which are really well established, which we can use when we make drama and theater. So we use these strategies to build a drama. We can also use them to focus the students' attention. We use them to stimulate their thinking, interthinking, talking, action with shared imagined context. And some drama strategies involve the whole class working as a one group. So very often you can use the whole group, and some others will require students to work individually or in pairs or in groups of various sizes. So drama strategies use a variety of group configurations. And I think it's very important in the language classroom to have this freedom to use different groupings, because we know that very often people feel inhibited when they are asked to speak individually in front of the whole classroom or in front of the teacher or peers. And in drama, they can work in different configurations. So it gives them a sort of umbrella of safety, you know, especially when you deal with very shy introvert students. They feel much safer when they are in a group. And also I think that drama and working in a group builds a sense of belonging, group identity, and it very much strengthens the collaboration. Using drama strategies, you can use also non-verbal communication, because you can use different gestures, postures, which are typical for the target language. Drama is very, very multisensory. And we know that also in a second language context, it's very important, and there has been a strong focus on providing students with multisensory input. So students have different learning preferences, as we know, but in general, it's important when we stimulate multisensory learning. Drama conventions or strategies also give different level of freedom and constraint, because some drama strategies will enable students to move around the space, they can move freely, whereas some other will require them to remain static or move even in slow motion. So I think it's a very good practice for spontaneous language use. So because sometimes drama strategies will involve improvised or rehearsed speech, but whereas others probably involve some silence, or or being completely silent, or or just practice different kinds of speech or different presentation skills and things like that. And I would like you to show you some practical example of drama based on a picture book called The Saddest King by Chris Wormel. I think this is a fascinating book, and you can use it in the classroom when you want to talk about emotions. And so we don't have enough time to go through the whole drama, but I would like to demonstrate just few strategies and conventions you can use. So let's say that we would do this drama based on the book The Saddest King. So first of all, if you can not to fall asleep, I would like you to move around the room. Of course, you don't move around the room, you can, but you can do it also visually. And imagine, but if you do it with your students, just you ask your students, your pupils, to move around the room and freeze into a statue that depicts the emotion you call out. So let's say that I will call out an emotion, and I don't want you to move out around the room, only if you want to, but I would like you to depict this emotion on your face, okay? So let's say sadness. Could you please depict or show sadness on your face? Okay. Fear. Now, loneliness. Guilt. Grief. All right, you can of course call out more emotions, depends, what emotions you want to explore. And why are we doing that? This is a very kinesthetic, because your group will be moving around the room, visual and affectively linked activity, which focus the attention on expressing the feelings. You can express a range of different emotions. So somehow it's a good introduction to drama, because you want to talk about emotions. So if you do the exercise like that, somehow you introduce the whole group into this topic. So this activity somehow prepares students to link, as I said, personally with a key theme in the story. And now I would like you to do something else. Sorry, I'm moving that. I would like you to imagine, okay, that we are going to build this story and build this drama in a place, in a town, where there are no machines, there are no mobile phones, there are no cars, okay? So the drama will be set up in a town a long time ago, where there are no machines, there are no cars, there are no mobile phones. And I would like you to create this town, okay? So all students, and now I want you to create the town. So I would like to give you an opportunity to become an object in this town, or a building, or something like that. There is a very good strategy, conventions in drama, which we call talking object. So you can imagine what object you would like to be. Let's say that we have a town, and there are many different objects in this town. What object can you be in this town? I will give you only the example. Let's say that you are a bench in the marketplace. So imagine that you are a bench in the marketplace, okay? And I would like you to represent and give some information about this object. So if you decide to be a bench, I would say I'm at a bench in the marketplace, and this person enters the middle of the room and places himself or herself in the middle, saying what object he represents. If you have students who are more advanced, you can ask them to give more information. I am a wooden bench, or I am a bench, you know, and describe it more detailed. Would you please give me the example? What kind of object you could be in this town we are now setting out and creating? Anybody? Right? Castle. Okay. Kalia, can you tell what castle you are? So how would sound the sentence? I am a castle, and so on. You have to describe it. I'm a stone fountain. Where is this stone fountain? Or what? Because, you know, try to somehow give. I'm an ancient stone. Okay. Good. What else? I'm a wooden barrel witch. Yes. Oh, I was standing in the corner when. You have some examples. How you describe it? I think it's a very good strategy where you can really practice some descriptions. You can use lots of adjectives. You can use different tenses, because you can tell the students what patterns, what structures they should use. And it depends, of course, of what they are practicing at the moment. And it makes the class and the students really very much engaged in drama, because first of all, they practice language of description, but also they are somehow linked to what's happening in the classroom. So different objects, there are a lot of trees around, but you have to tell, I am the tree which stands in the middle of the marketplace. I have heard lots of conversations of people coming here. No, something like that. So you can be the tree, you can be the church, you can be a bench, whatever, but it's important to give the description. So if we do this drama, I would tell, I am the king of the town. I'm the king of the kingdom. And I ask people to be happy all the time. And I, as a teacher, would make the statue of the king. Okay. All right. So it's important that you decide what language you want to practice. But talking objects is one of my favorite conventional strategy, because it gives us really lots of opportunities to practice the language. So when you create this city, when you create this town, you can ask the students, you know, to use the simple past. You can also ask them to say what they would like to be, things like that. Another convention is mapping. So then you ask your student to prepare the map, and the map, they can draw, you know, some places in the city, and then they have to describe it again. Why are we doing it? Because a map provides somehow a visual representation, an organizer, a reminder of the setting, which then can be used in drama. Sometimes, I don't know if you agree, especially with younger kids, some children have really difficulty with visualization, with imagining and seeing something real. So then when you ask them or allow them to draw a map, it can help them to see, to imagine the setting. So you can prepare something like that, or you can allow them to draw. And as I said, the map provides a visual representation, and it can be very helpful, especially for students whose language is not that much developed, or they have more difficulties with imagining things. Then another convention, which I already mentioned, is teacher enroll. So teacher enroll is probably the most powerful technique and convention, because you can play different roles. And in this drama, which was based on the story on the Saddest King, I explained to the students that I will pretend to be the king, and they will be my clever advisors, and they have to address me, Your Majesty. So I was wearing a crown and a cloak. You can do it or not, but it always helps. And in Enroll, I told my students that they have to that I have decided to make a new law. So I made a new law that everyone in the land, everyone in our kingdom must be happy all the time. And I listened to their responses. So I asked my students to give me some advice if this law can be introduced or not. So if you were my advisors, what would you tell, or what would you advise me? I want everyone in our kingdom to be happy all the time. No, is it possible to happy all the time? So some students would say that it's not possible because we have different emotions. But using this strategy, I ignore the advice of my advisors, and I ask them to prepare to draft the legal document as a writing activity. So students were preparing a document where they explained that in our kingdom, everybody has to be happy all the time. Yes, Mohammed, thank you for that. Provide cake and coffee every morning. All right. Okay. So it was also an opportunity to do some writing, because I asked them to prepare this document, that this is the document prepared by the king, that everybody has to be happy in our kingdom. You can do different things being enrolled, because then I don't know if it has happened to you, but very often when we do drama in the classroom, students are playing something in the role, and then you tell them, no, you should use different phrase, you should use different words, and you do it as teacher. Usually it inhibits the student, and he can't talk fluently anymore. But being in a role is different, because you are an active part of drama. So it helps a lot. So let's say that we are coming back to drama. So you ask them to write this document, and next element, next convention which I used was rumors. What is rumors? Rumors is a very good convention of very good strategies. I ask students to change roles, and now they became the townspeople. So they imagine that you are the townspeople in this kingdom, and you have heard a rumor that there is a new law introduced by our king. So you are walking around the room gossiping about this law. So it's important to give time to your students to spread and gather the rumors and gossip. Yeah. So what gossips can you hear? We can say, is the king mad? What happens if someone you love dies? Is it possible to be happy all the time? Or is it possible, to smile all the time? So you go around and you gossip. It's a really nice, engaging exercise. And it's very relaxing, because students go around and they gossip. And you, as a teacher, as a king, you go around and eavesdrop what they are saying. So rumors enable, as I said, students to loosen up in a role, say what they think in a more flowing and natural way. And again, they are less individually on the spot. They can relax a little bit. And also it's important because this activity very often helps to generate and gather some thoughts and ideas from each other. So people, because they gossip all together, so you have lots of different ideas and different thoughts. And also this activity reveals the thinking. So when you go around and you eavesdrop the gossips, then you can see if they understand the key issues and problems. Yeah? And then you can use this information in or out of the drama. So that's called rumors. And next activity you can do, it will be small group playmaking or performance carousel, which is connected with that, sorry. And so, you know that it's very difficult with this new law created in our kingdom. It's impossible to live like that. So at this moment, I asked students to create groups of 4 or 5, and they were asked to create short scene up to 1 minute. And this scene or this short performance should portray some situation where it's very difficult for the people from the town to be happy. You know, so whatever they want, they should create something. It doesn't have to be very verbal, really. They can say something, but they can also just, you know, make it as just the movements, but just present something, the situation when it's very difficult to be happy. When they created the short performance, the short situation, then we do something called performance carousel, where they perform group by group. It's really very powerful when you can also play some music and you ask each group to perform, and then when one group stops, next one begins, and it's like the carousel. Yeah, and it's really, as I said, with music, it can be very, very powerful. So each group prepares a small situation, and then they perform it. And for this drama, which I explained, the Saddest Kings, there are many other activities you can do. Of course, you can improvise. You can do some tableaus. The tableau is when you can ask the group to create like the picture and then freeze it. I will not go into details and show you the whole drama because it's quite long, but I would like to show you the story outline, what happened in this kingdom, and because it's connected with emotions, with revealing emotions, and we know that all people have different emotions and it's impossible to be happy all the time. But what happened? So here you have the story. It's based on the book which I showed before, so you can use it. So I will read it quickly. In this country, everyone appears to be happy all the time. This is because the king has decreed that it's against the law not to be happy. This leads inevitably to inner tensions for the citizens, as no one feels happy all the time, and not being able to express various emotions is stressful. One day, a little boy cries in front of the statue of the king. Everyone tries to stop him crying in various ways, but he's soon arrested by the king's guards and taken to the palace. The boy meets the king, who looks very happy. The king asks why he's crying. The boy explains that his dog has died. And strange sounds emanate from the king. The boy looks closely and realizes that the king is wearing a mask. The boy pulls away the king's happy mask and reveals the saddest face the boy has ever seen. The king's dog had also died, and the boy and king get together, laughing and crying as they share dog stories. The king explains that when his own dog died, no one dared laugh or cry in his presence. That was why he made happiness compulsory. The boy explains that you need to show what you feel, and the king realizes he's fully and rips up the legal document. Then everyone immediately enjoys a really good cry. That's the story about the Saddest King. But it's just the material or the story you can use to talk about emotions. And as sometimes it's very difficult to ask students to talk about their own emotions, but when you use the story, then it's much easier because it's the fictional context, and the fictional context gives students the safety, the umbrella of safety. So in drama, as I said before, the emotional competence has a feel-good factor, and it's intrinsically motivating, and it helps to learn. And also in drama, as in this story, we can focus on reading some non-verbal messages. You know that when you communicate your emotions, usually we communicate emotions in non-verbal messages. We often say in psychology that verbal communication, we communicate some opinions, some facts, but through non-verbal, we much more communicate some emotions. So it's important to use gesture, eye contact, movement, different elements of proxemics, kinesthetics, and so on. And also non-verbal, we need to remember that non-verbal communication also is like element which can be very important for clarity of meaning of verbal messages. And usually verbal messages are much better recognized when you develop also this non-verbal communication skills. So drama supports and gives them understanding of verbal and non-verbal messages, and that's also important, and it can help a lot. And this is the book which was mentioned by Lucina at the very beginning. If you are interested in this book, we created lots of practical examples of drama, lots of scenarios, also on topics like refugees, like, you know, here I think I put the content. So the beginning is more theoretical, where we try to explain what drama is, what process drama is, and how you can use it in the classroom, in language classroom. But then you have the second part and the third, where there are some scenarios. I think it's one of the most effective methods to use in the classroom and to teach some skills. And even when we have to explore difficult topics like refugees, for instance, at the moment we have many refugees in many countries, I think you can use it easily, and it gives you this safety of talking about difficult issues in a very distant way. So there are many strategies and conventions, and of course it depends on the teacher what you want to use. You don't have to explore all these conventions, and depending on the lesson. But also drama is very much connected with CLIL, you know, CLIL, which the approach which we have been using in ELT a lot, because it's always integrated with some important, you know, topics or themes, and depending what you need to teach, you can use different strategies. We also, in the book, there is also a unit on bullying, another difficult topic, I think, to discuss with students. So when you do it for drama, I did lots of projects with students, or also with some pupils in primary and secondary schools on bullying using drama, when we talk about violence in a very distant way. So it was much easier for them to understand it. Yeah. CLIL is, as I said, is another thing which connects drama and second language learning. Different thing in drama can be used for different purposes, and if you need to teach business English, you can create drama, you know, situations on drama context, which is very much business oriented. If you teach medical English, it can be very much medical rooted. So lots of possibilities depending on what you really need and what you teach. But what is important is the safety which drama gives, so you don't assess the student directly. Of course, we have to pre-teach them very often some vocabulary, because when you use drama, which is more complicated, it's very important to pre-teach some vocabulary, because many people are afraid of using drama because they think that, you know, the students need to be very fluent and advanced. Of course, they need to know some vocabulary, but you can use drama even with beginners. Just playing with some intonation, you can use just one word, beautiful. I remember when I did drama with some beginners, adults who were doing drama based on selling and buying a car, and they use only one word, beautiful. The person who tried to sell the car was using beautiful, wow, beautiful. And the person who was trying to buy the car was quite suspicious and doubtful, so he was using the word beautiful with a different intonation. And so it's possible to use with students who are absolutely not very advanced. Also, I think most teachers find very difficult to teach writing. I think it's one of the most difficult skills to teach because students find it difficult to prepare well and so on. So again, drama provides really very rich context and content and opportunities for writing, because you can write in role, you can also write out of the role. If you ask your students to prepare something which is connected with the story, it's more meaningful, it's more purposefully. And you can use lots of different styles. You can actually write using a whole range of styles. Okay, so I think it's also very useful to know that through drama you can integrate all skills. You can use all. You can develop all skills. Another important drama strategy which I haven't explained is passing thoughts. Imagine that you have a character standing in the center of the circle, and people can pass by the character individually and voice what they know and what they think they know about the character. So you are trying to get into the character's mind and express what the person thinks. And it gives an excellent opportunity to get connected linguistically to the character. And of course, every student can say something at his level of competency. So it doesn't have to be very complicated, but again, you can use simple sentences, but you teach them not only the language, but also you teach some metacognition skills, when you can distance from the character and imagine what the person can think about, and also teaches some empathetic skills, because you have to get into somebody else's situation if you want to know what the person feels. So this is probably the most important thing. The drama really teaches empathy, because playing a character and getting into somebody else's shoes is the best way to learn how the person can feel. When you talk that empathy, when you tell your students, then the empathy is important, it's only just talking. But when somebody experiences how it feels to be in a situation of somebody else, it's very different. So when we did this drama on bullying, it was really important that the people who usually in classroom are really very violent and they are bullies, they played the role of the victim. So they could learn how it is to be a victim. Okay, I can talk about drama for a week, but I hope that I encourage you to explore the topic a little bit more, because it's really a very powerful tool and you can do lots of fantastic lessons using drama. And don't be afraid, you don't have to be that much experience, but if you get involved, I think it's like an addiction. I remember when I went to UK to study something completely different, and then I met some drama people and I got into it, and I'm absolutely passionate about drama. And drama never makes you bored, because when you go to drama conference, you are never bored, and it doesn't matter how old you are, you always have very young soul, because you practice, you do some exciting activities, and you can also use your body, because drama is very holistic. You use your brain, you use your mind, you use your emotions, and you use your body. And sometimes as teachers, we are very afraid of using our bodies, of using physicality in the classroom. But we are holistic, and it's important to remember that our bodies can be also a very effective tool to be used in the classroom. So I wish you lots of, exciting drama classes and lessons. If anybody wants to learn more, or you need any practical scenarios, drama lessons, you can write to me and I will send you some practical materials. So thank you very much for joining me, and sorry for my voice, but it has been a very long day today. So I had some problems with speaking. So thank you very much and have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, Alicja, for your wonderful webinar, as usual. Your voice has been perfect, much better than mine at this time of the day. So thank you very much. And I would like to thank all the participants on behalf of IATEFL Poland. I hope everybody has been able to learn a lot, download the certificate of participation in this webinar. And we will keep in touch with you because we would like to remain positively inspired by you, dear Alicja. Do you have anything that you would like to say at the end of this webinar? Anybody?
And maybe somebody has a question. If you have any question, you can ask, of course.
Mohammed has a question?
Yes, I have a question, please. First of all, thank you so much for your delightful talk. It was fascinating because this is the first time in my life that I heard about drama and all the things that are related to it. First of all, I'm Mohammed from Morocco. I'm 20 years old. I'm an English department in the University of Abdelmalik Saadi in Tétouan. And also I'm an English teacher at one of the primary school here in Morocco, and also in one of the language centers here also in my town, which called Carousel. I start teaching this year as a sort of to make money so that I can be so that I can pay my the university transportation and books and so on. But I find teaching really, really cool because I use theater. I use theater with my students, and they always enjoy my lesson. In fact, there are, for example, if I have, I have a class with the 6th grade, they are waiting all the day just to come to my class. Why? Because I use something special than the other teachers. Because here in Morocco, and I'm being honest, a lot of teachers are using a boring teaching. They just stay in their place, just practice with no drama, with no theater, with no body movement, with no body language. And this is from my point of view, make the class and the environment of teaching and the environment of learning and the process of education very, very, very lazy. So the students will not be able to understand the lessons and the courses very well. So I do the opposite, which is I do sometimes theater with my students. I create stories for them, but sometimes I'm afraid of this. So my question is, am I able to do drama or to practice drama and theater together with all kinds of students? I mean, from the primary school to the high school, or just some specific grades that can be able to do this kind of drama with? And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed, for sharing some of your experience and what you do. It's fascinating what you are doing, and congratulations on that. Definitely, you can do drama with anyone. I'm practicing drama even in the nursery, in kindergarten, with really little young students. Of course, you have to choose something which is appropriate for the age group. So if you do drama with really young students, you have to take the topic which is interesting for them, and the linguistically is not too complicated, But you can combine drama and theater as you are doing, because they are very correlated, and very often we start with drama and then we go to theater. But it's not necessary, because as I explained during our webinar, sometimes people are afraid of performing like in the theater because there is audience. In drama, they feel safer because they do something in a group, but there is no so much of individual spot. So they feel much safer. But when you work with really young students, some of them can be introvert, they are shy. And I know when you start doing drama, you think, oh, come on, no, it will never work because they are reluctant to be active. So you have to start then with something very, very little, you know, just one small activity like with kids. Imagine that you have come from a different planet, you know, and could you show me, you know, a ritual or one thing which you do on your planet, you know, how you say hello, and you ask students just to prepare like a, you know, a gesture, they will say hello to each other. Simple thing, because they need to feel safer. Or the other way around, you can tell them, let's imagine that we will have some guests from the different planet. Could you please show them how we greet on our Earth, on our planet? So they go and so you can start from something non-verbal, because usually when it's non-verbal, they feel safer. They don't have to use the language, which sometimes is difficult for them if it's a foreign language. So just some non-verbal activities, or we do some, let's say, I don't know, I play with them that they go around and I want them to say hello using different parts of their bodies. So say hello with your elbow, say hello with your head, say hello with your backs. And they love it when I ask them, okay, could you please imagine, they have to stand in pairs. Could you imagine that your friend Joseph has taken, like, I don't know, €5 from you and hasn't given it back to you? So using your backs, can you express how you are feeling about the situation? So first of all, they are very angry. So doing like this, we are angry because you haven't given me my €5 back. Then I said, okay, €5 is only €5, but friendship is the most important thing. So show the friendship, and they use different movement of their backs. You know, I'm just giving you some fun examples, but just to demonstrate that you can do really simple activities to encourage. When they like it, it will be much easier for you to do something more complex and complicated. Okay.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Anyone.
Yes.
With anyone, you know, I have no time to show you any films, but it's sometimes funny, especially when you work with adults. I will tell you one more thing to finish. I worked with some business people many years ago. You can imagine, like, very important, you know, managers, big wigs, coming for the course of English. They came to the mountains to learn English because they were very important, but they didn't speak English at the time. So they expected that we would be sitting at desk and doing something very serious. But, you know, Lucina knows me, not me. So I asked them to come to the big room and move around. I will never forget how they look at me, that I must have been stupid. But I said, okay, imagine that you are the clay. One person is the clay, the other person is the sculptor, the artist, and make something out of the clay. They were shocked. Then I wanted them to sit on the floor and do some exercises. But imagine, after 1 week, they were perfect. They really learned a lot, because they told me after the course that they made fool of themselves the first evening. So then they didn't care, you know, because often we are blocked, we are inhibited by our fears, and you have to do something just to get out of this role you play in your real life. And drama is perfect for that. So to begin with, I usually start with something funny and easy, just to, you know, that people find.
I have heard something called the story cards, if you can see, and those are some specific books that are for a specific classroom. For example, this is for the 5th grade, and inside that there is a lot of images that are representing a story. For example, you can see this picture, and in the back there is the script that I can use what the students and the teacher are supposed to do. So I find this very helpful, because the English teacher who was before me, the director told me they never use that, and I don't know why. But since I start using this story cards and trying to acting the courses, I mean using theater or drama, I find it really, really effective for the students. They learn a lot and they enjoy the lesson, which is the most important thing.
You know, because this is the clue. When they enjoy it, they will come and learn. You know, if they don't like it, they wouldn't. They wouldn't come and learn. They are demotivated. So that's why I think, you know, when you, that's all about emotions. We talked. Yeah. If you really evoke positive emotions and people will like the classes, they will learn. They are motivated. Okay.
Yes.
So that's something what I would like to tell you. And you know, keep going, be positive, and don't be afraid also of making a little bit of fool of yourself. Doesn't matter, you know, just free yourself. I think drama is good for teachers because very often we are blocked with our own, you know, bodies and so on. So, you know, just fit. If you have any questions and any problems, just write to me. So
thank you
very
so much, dear Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you for this discussion. I have recorded everything, so people will be able